Well, a big focus. It was another sleepless night for Beirut. The Israeli military has just announced that its troops have begun crossing into southern Lebanon, saying that they would destroy Hezbollah military infrastructure and villages that are close to the Israel-Lebanon border. In fact, in a statement issued shortly before 2 a.m., the military described the operation as a limited operation and said that its troops had begun entering Lebanon a few hours ago in order to target sites that pose an immediate threat to Israeli communities in northern Israel. This invasion followed intense Israeli strikes across Lebanon over the past 2 weeks that have killed hundreds of people, including 95 just on Monday. Israel is trying to force a conclusion to a year-long war with Hezbollah that started in parallel with Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza, set off by the October 7 attacks on southern Israel. But in Lebanon, I must inform you, officials say more than 1,000 people have been killed. This is just in the last 2 weeks, while up to 1 million may now be displaced.
When Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than people think, everything will be different. Our two ancient peoples, the Jewish people and the Persian people, will finally be at peace. Our two countries, Israel and Iran, will be at peace. The people of Iran should know Israel stands with you. May we together know a future of prosperity and peace.
But what is unclear is how intense the combat may now be between Israeli forces and Hezbollah fighters. In fact, Hezbollah fighters are well armed and battle-hardened, even if their leadership has been decimated in the last 2 weeks. But for the Lebanese people, meanwhile, their fear is that the country as a whole could be engulfed in their bitter conflict. Hezbollah says it is ready for an Israeli ground operation. The IDF has said that a limited operation has begun. Dr. John Rooney joins us live currently. He's a military intelligence researcher. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us on NDTV. The White House says there has been no change in America's support of Israel in response to the start of what has been described as a limited ground offensive in Lebanon, despite Joe Biden's call for the Israeli government to actually consider stopping the operations. An expert has actually argued that an emboldened Israel appears to believe it can safely ignore a lame duck US president. How do you see the latest developments in the last 12 hours?
I absolutely agree with that. I think that at the moment, Netanyahu has played his hand very well. He has now timed this military enterprise at the time of weakness for the United States leading up to the US federal election or national election. And, you know, really, we've got about 5 months to play out because, quite frankly, whoever ends up in the White House will take some time to bed down. So whether it's Harris on the one side or Trump on the other, there won't be immediate capacities for any new US president to actually do anything about what's going on in the Middle East right now.
But nearly a year after he was blamed for Israel's massive security and intelligence failures surrounding Hamas's October 7th attack, some analysts are arguing, sir, that Prime Minister Netanyahu is actually winning. In fact, citing the latest polls show that if elections were held today, his right-wing party would finish first.
That's absolutely true. And look, I think that we in the international community, those of us who are outside of the Middle East, have to look at this with a bit of caution. All limited wars end up suffering from the horrendous side effect of mission creep. So at the moment, while Netanyahu may be riding high because of all the so-called victories that he's managed to score over the last week or two, the fact remains that a technologically sophisticated side always enters a war with the idea of being in control of everything, in being able to go in and come out at its choosing. I think that in this situation, the Hezbollah main force has not been dealt with. And don't forget, Hezbollah has a decentralized command structure. So you can take out the leadership, but there is always someone standing in their stead, ready and willing to replace that leader.
Crucial point highlighted there, sir. So Israel going ahead with this ground incursion, despite urgent calls from its main ally, the United States, not to do so. Does this clearly indicate that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu clearly believes the momentum is with Israel?
Yes, I believe that that's the case. I also believe that Netanyahu probably doesn't think too much of international opinion right now. He's riding high at the moment. Things are going Israel's way, but remember, they will go Israel's way until they don't. And in Lebanon, Israel has had a very checkered history. This will be the fourth time that Israel has gone into Lebanon. The previous three times, Israel did not achieve the kind of decisive victories that it sought to achieve. And I think that at each time they went in with the idea of being able to be in control of everything, that they'll go in and come out and have low casualties and everything will be fine. But it was never the case. And I suspect that this will be a case of history repeating itself.